Oh, so close. All right, I'm feeling around for it. All right, I got the peanut butter. All right, now the knife. Got the knife. Now we're making it back. All right. All right. Okay. Yeah, okay, so I just got the peanut butter and the sourdough. I probably sound far away from my mic, but now it's time to make a sandwich. Are you ready for the process? If you're watching on YouTube, here's how to make a good sourdough and peanut butter sandwich.
Are we going to make this a YouTube exclusive?
Yes. First, do a little bit of ASMR too. First, you get the sourdough loaf from Whole Foods. You can't get the store-bought stuff. You got to get the in-house bakery Whole Foods bread, or else it's not good. Then you take 2 pieces of bread. You take 1 piece, and you're gonna put the peanut butter on it. Here's my knife. Here's my peanut butter. Is this Jif? Sponsor us, please. It's really good.
Are you a crunchy or creamy?
I don't care, but right now I have creamy.
Gun to your head, crunchy or creamy?
Creamy.
Crunchy.
Crunchy's fine. Like, I don't care, but if I had to choose one to eat the rest of my life, it'd definitely be creamy. So right now I'm spreading the peanut butter on this bread. Then I'm gonna put the knife down, and then I'm gonna get my other piece of bread out. Okay. Now it's time to spread more peanut butter. See, sometimes with this peanut butter, I just take a spoon and I just eat it. It's super unhealthy, but it does the trick for me.
You're a skinny boy. You can use it.
I am a skinny boy. I am not very big. But
get your weight up.
Yes. Okay, we're almost done with this sandwich. But while I'm making this sandwich, guys, there's this company out there that I really, really, really like. They're called Fanatics, and they sponsor us here at the Brawl Network and here at the Fantasy Football Brawl. And they do a lot of things for our show and our network, including give us good sponsorships. I don't know. I'm kind of like lost right now because I'm so focused on this sandwich.
Well, what can you get them, Fanatics? Mahomes Super Bowl jersey?
Oh, you can get the Mahomes Super Bowl jersey. You can get the Chiefs World Champion gear. And you can get, the 49ers losers gear. The NFC winners,
champion.
The NFC winners gear. But if you want to get that, and if you're like Lucas and you like the Sixers, and you're like Joe and you like Alabama,
or the Yankees.
Or the Yankees, but they don't count because they're annoying. Sorry to all the Yankees fans out there. I'm not really sorry. But you can use our link, www.thebearsbrawl.com/fanatics. And it's not www.com/fanatics, as I have said in previous episodes. It's www.thebearsbrawl.com/fanatics. And I'm about to take a nice old bite of my sandwich.
So Joe right now is showing a Patrick Mahomes Kansas City Chiefs Fanatics autographed authentic Super Bowl champions pro football for $649.99. That includes free shipping. So if you're a Chiefs fan out there, get someone the gift of their lifetime for MVP Pat Mahomes Super Bowl football.
He was throwing darts at the Super Bowl parade today. I don't know if y'all were watching it.
Yeah, I saw some videos. It looked like there was all like 10 people there. Kind of expected more for a 50-year drought, but who am I to judge? My team hasn't won before I was born, so.
I mean, we don't talk about our teams here, or Packers fans will get mad at us. So.
Well, Joe, kick off the show like we normally do.
What's up, y'all? It's the Fantasy Football Brawl podcast. It's episode 24.
Ooh, Kobe.
It's our Super Bowl wrap-up edition episode. It's our end of the year wrap-up. We're wrapping up the 2019 season. It was a great season. It was our first season. We're wrapping up the podcast. You already know where to find us all. Find Lucas Berry, the man, at lberry_40. Get his Twitter followers up. Follow Joe Rosing at 72 Tuve Bro, the big Jose Altuve fan. Follow me at Joe Gaither, the number 6. And we are on Twitter at Brawl Fantasy. We're on Instagram and Facebook at Fantasy Football Brawl. Follow us on both those pages. Make sure you're hitting the trifecta, and you'll know everything you need to know about fantasy football and our lives. And I know that's what you're really invested in. Our lives, our characters. We're having a little fun here on the Fantasy Football Brawl. But before we jump in to talk about the Super Bowl, we just want to let you know we're going to take a few weeks off. We're really aggravated with one another. We're tired of seeing each other. Before the episode started, me and Joe were arguing. He called me old. I called him young. Just nasty, nasty stuff. Terrible. So we need a couple weeks cool down. I'm putting Lucas on suspension, and they're taking away all of our access to all the sites, so that we got to take a couple weeks off. But when we come back, we'll come back and we're going to talk about the NFL draft, because we are into Dynasty as well. It's Dynasty Fantasy Football. We like to cater to every
Dynasty.
Yeah, if you've got a Dynasty league and you're going to be drafting rookies, or even if you don't, and you need to think about what the rookies are going to bring to the NFL this year, we're going to have you covered. We'll go week by week going quarterbacks and running backs and wide receivers and tight ends. And we're skipping kickers. Sorry, kickers. You're not real football players. Get out of here. But we'll have all the positions covered for all your dynasty need. Joe was chewing up all that peanut butter, so I'm going to ask Lucas, what did
Wait. I just wanted to make a comment real quick.
We can't even understand you. Chew and swallow.
Wait, hold on. I just wanted to make a comment.
Chew and swallow.
Okay. I just wanted to make a comment real quick on how crazy it would have been if last week was our 24th episode.
That
would have been something absolutely crazy. Again, our condolences go out to the families. But this week, it's post Super Bowl, the halftime show. Oh, perfecto, bro.
We'll get into that.
I loved it.
Here in Alabama, it's been kind of interesting on some sports talk radio centered around the halftime show. We'll ask Lucas. I know you had the 49ers last week on the podcast. What was your general overarching feel of the Super Bowl for last week?
Well, it was a very good game, which I think we all expected. It was very close, even though the Chiefs ended up winning by 2 scores. They got scored 1 touchdown really late. But for 3.5 quarters, that was a dogfight. And the 49ers defense showed up, which much to some people's surprise, they made Patrick Mahomes look bad for the first 3 quarters of that game. Really bad. Like, no one's ever seen him this bad before. And they actually dropped what would have been probably a game-sealing pick 6 versus Mahomes. Would have been his 3rd of the game. They would have been up by 17 points. They would have put the game on ice. Instead, they dropped a pick. Offense went stagnant. Jimmy Garoppolo was forced to throw the ball. And like we said, if he's forced to throw the ball, they're not going to win. And that was the case. He couldn't make the plays when he had to. I really don't put any of that blame on Shanahan. And Mahomes was incredible in that 4th quarter, plain and simple. But you didn't expect him to be completely shut out for that whole game. So, and then Damian Williams, kudos to you, and kudos to that Chiefs defense.
Should have been MVP.
They really stepped up.
I completely agree with you. I just wanted to talk about one guy who really let me down. His name is Jimmy Garoppolo. Man, if you connected with a wide open Emmanuel Sanders on that deep ball, I would have won DraftKings. And you know what?
Or if he didn't throw the ball with his eyes closed twice.
How do you comprehend doing that? Especially as an NFL QB. Like, where's your mindset? And dude, it's a Super Bowl. Jimmy G. Like, last year, I remember I went on a huge rant on one of my podcasts about how much Jared Goff was very, very bad. This year, I can't do that to Jimmy G because it seems like everybody already knows that he is not that Super Bowl caliber quarterback. So
I'm gonna play devil's advocate just to stir up the conversation here. Because my first talking point about the Super Bowl was what happens if that's not called pass interference at the end of the first half, where he does hit the throw. He hits the long throw down to Kittle. They likely would have hit a Robbie Gold field goal and beat up 13-10 at halftime. Now, granted, there's a second half to play, but he hits the pass. It doesn't get called back, and they're up going into the locker room. Does that kind of shift some things and change some things? Because, really, that was a beautiful ball, but ticky-tack call. It's pass interference in the Super Bowl. It's not pass interference down in New Orleans in overtime. What do you think? Because he does hit one good pass at the end of that first half.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting theory. I mean, no one knows what would have happened, but yeah, they would have had a lot of momentum going into halftime. Who knows what they come out like it, on that first drive. Maybe they go up. Did they get a field goal off that first drive out of the half? I think they scored a field goal out of the half. Or was it a touchdown? Regardless, it's a 2-touchdown, it's a 2-score swing. If that doesn't get called, and I'm sure Garoppolo has some momentum.
Yeah, San Francisco scored 10 third-quarter points, so that would have put them up by 13 going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
The thing is though, is that I think that there's some fault to Kyle Shanahan right there. The fault being
he didn't call a timeout.
He had 3 timeouts with about 2 minutes remaining and didn't do anything.
I mean, I saw what he was trying to do. He didn't want to give Mahomes the ball and have him throw a bomb or something.
Dude, that's the probability of Mahomes getting the ball back with any time left to even have a chance at throwing a ball.
He would have if they called their timeouts.
But if they called their timeouts, it probably would have been less than a minute left, and Mahomes would have gotten the ball between the 20-yard line and the goal line. That's what would have happened because there's no way anything else happens. Instead, he drains it down to 15 seconds left. Jimmy G could have hit that pass to George Kittle. Great throw, probably his best throw all game. Fortunately, it was called back. And thus resulted in just I think it's Shanahan's fault more than I think it's just the ref's fault. I think that Shanahan could have played it so much better. And I think that even if it was not called pass interference and they get the 3 points, they could have had 7. They had around 2 minutes left with 3 timeouts. We've seen quarterbacks like Eli Manning go with 0 timeouts with 58 seconds left and march down the field and win his team a couple Super Bowls. He's done that twice against the Patriots. Left Tom Brady around 4 seconds left to throw a bomb. What happened? No one caught it. Aaron Hernandez missed it. What happened in the other Super Bowl? Threw to David Tyree, got the helmet catch, and then threw a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. To me, that was a big play, but the 2 keys of the game, I think, were the strip sack by Bosa that, just it went right back to Mahomes, which there's nothing he could have done about it, but that was huge. I mean, if the 49ers got that, another game-changing play, it was just an incredible play. And then the other play was the drop pick 6. That would have really salted the game away. Kansas City was done if he caught that.
They were getting to Mahomes all game. They had constant pressure. That was the big thing that they had to do, and they did it. The defense played so well. You don't make Patrick Mahomes look like that. The last time Patrick Mahomes looked bad wasn't even comparable to how bad he looked today. The last time we talked about it last episode was against the Lions. Back in week 4, he still threw for over 300 yards.
Yeah.
And no interceptions.
He was at 170 something in the fourth quarter.
With 2 picks.
Yeah.
And
should have been 3.
Picks. It should have been 3, and 2 of them were really bad.
The third one was bad too. I don't know how the guy dropped it. I do not know.
It's I don't Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion, played a great fourth quarter, but that's the only quarter he played well. In my opinion, I don't know if that was enough to even win him Super Bowl MVP, let alone barely win him the game. That fourth quarter touchdown from Damian Williams, yeah, that was a nice run, but he probably should have gone and just ran out the ball, and just fell before he scored. I mean, you give the 49ers the ball back right there. So, honestly, I don't know.
Well, circling back to Kyle Shanahan and his timeout usage, if you kind of look back in the previous games in the regular season, they played the Ravens, and they played the Ravens pretty close and tough. I believe they won close in overtime. That's beside the point. But the sequence at the end of the half, against the Ravens, basically the 49ers got the ball back with 2 minutes to go. They ran 2 plays that took 80 seconds. So that's basically a minute 20. They're left with 40 seconds left. And he runs regular offense at that point. He starts using his timeouts. He had 3 timeouts to start. And at the end of it, he used 2 of his 3 timeouts and opted for a 51-yard field goal that was blocked, so they didn't get any points off it. But the point being, he basically was trying to copy that same style, run a little clock out, and take a long field goal so Mahomes doesn't get it back. We all saw Mahomes.
See, but I don't agree with that. And Mahomes wasn't playing well. I'm not worried.
Yes, but you have to be worried because that's your butt on the sidelines, and that's your basically that's your.
Don't you think that people would have been like, dang, at least he was aggressive there in the last 2 minutes?
If the Chiefs have scored, he would have got crucified.
He has 3 timeouts and 2 minutes left. No one who knows a little bit of football would crucify him.
No, they
would have.
If
the Chiefs scored, they would have.
They would have said, "Oh my God, look how awesome Pat Mahomes is! You left him too much time. That 15 seconds that he threw a bomb up to Tyreek Hill, and they threw 5 blockers out. What was it? 2 years ago that Alex Smith threw the dump off to Tyreek Hill late in the half and had 5 blockers in front of him, and basically Cheetah navigated it like a punt return and scored. It was against the Cowboys, and if that situation happens." Then Shanahan is looking like, dang, I really messed up.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's what you do. You try and you call those timeouts. You run your offense. You call those timeouts. Patrick Mahomes has at most 40 seconds left. At most.
Plenty of time for old Patty Mahomes.
Yeah, we know.
Okay, so he has 40 seconds left, right? He has 40 seconds left. He's been playing bad all game. What's to say that changes? 1. And 2, he's there's no doubt in my mind that he's between the 20-yard line and the goal line. And if he's closer to the goal line, that's like almost 90 yards that he has to go. Could be 90-plus yards that he has to go to score the touchdown. Yes, we've all seen his arm, and we've all seen what he can do.
And he has the fastest receivers in the NFL.
It doesn't mean anything.
It does, though. It does because listen, if they gave up points there, that could have ended the Super Bowl. Instead of doing that, he lived to fight another half, which I can respect. He knew he had an inferior quarterback who, 1, he doesn't trust because he would have thrown the ball way more and probably would have called his timeouts if his quarterback was actually good.
Okay.
And 2, we've seen it all the time. Aaron Rodgers does it all the time at the end of quarters. Tom Brady, the great quarterbacks do it. And we saw Pat Mahomes come back in the 4th quarter and look like Pat Mahomes. He can do it like that.
I know. But here's the thing. Why don't you run the ball then? Call those timeouts. Run like 20, 30 seconds off the clock per play instead of throwing the ball. You run 3 run plays. And if it doesn't work –
Because they were ready for the run because that's all the 49ers do. And they would have ran a max of like 20 seconds off.
The mission is accomplished by not taking those timeouts and letting the Chiefs run that clock down on the punt back to them. Because basically that's when he could have taken that timeout. Is they had stopped the Chiefs, and it was a little over 2 minutes or so, and he opted not to call a timeout. So the Chiefs themselves burned the clock down. And so he saved his timeouts. He didn't have to run the ball. He got the same effect happened. The same result happened.
I just don't agree. I think that he should have. I think that he should have played aggressive, and I don't think anybody would have faulted him if he played aggressive. Yes, Patrick Mahomes could have. He could if he scored. If Patrick Mahomes led the Chiefs to a score,
that was it for the Niners.
Oh my gosh, Patrick Mahomes is so great. They scored 3 points or they scored 7 points.
Yeah, they're going into halftime with major momentum.
Major momentum, but they don't get the ball back.
Play the process here.
The 49ers get the ball back.
Don't play the result. Play the process here. The Chiefs got the ball coming out of half.
The 49ers
did. Yeah, they did. 49ers did.
49ers got the ball out of half.
But the better quarterback has the lead at that point.
And so
the better quarterback has a 3 or 7 or 6 point lead. That's not overcomable.
But don't play the result. Play the process here. If Kittle doesn't get called for pass interference,
he played that perfectly.
You're getting that field goal. You're getting the field goal, and the clock is out.
Okay.
And so his method worked. It just that bad call. So that makes me want to ask you.
You can't trust Jimmy G to make that throw 9 times out of 10 like you can Patrick Mahomes.
Right. But if they would have sailed incomplete, they had no time because they ran the clock down. They weren't giving him a minute. They were giving him 10, 15 seconds.
That's what would have happened regardless.
No, it wouldn't have. If they ran the ball 3 times like you just said, they would have had the ball with 1:30 left.
They had around 2 minutes left. It was not more than 2 minutes. It was around 2 minutes.
You're not running off more than 10 seconds per run play when they're stacking the box.
So, I don't know about that. I think that Kyle Shanahan knows how to call a couple run plays against a stacked box. We've seen it before. The Packers did it all last week.
What were they going to do? Move the ball 80 yards in like 2 minutes?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, but put the quarterback in a better position. to have not more time, but more comfort.
He did, and the quarterback delivered a strike that was called pass interference.
The completion to Kittle put him down on the 40-yard line, put him down on the 35-yard line, right in range for a Robbie Gould field goal, and we all would trust Robbie Gould in that situation. Like his process worked perfectly. The point I'm trying to make is,
But why not go for a touchdown and try and get a 14-point swing?
Because no confidence in Jimmy G, trying to basically get some point.
You don't need confidence in Jimmy G there.
You
run the ball.
When the guy
run the ball.
You're not going to get anywhere. You wouldn't go
anywhere. Yes, you will. That Chiefs front seven, yes, very good. Kyle Shanahan destroyed that Packers front seven. Kyle Shanahan destroyed that Seahawks front seven. Kyle Shanahan destroyed that Vikings front seven.
He wasn't moving you can't run a 2-minute drill running the ball.
You're all right there, brother. My question though is, was it pass interference? Because we've argued this blue in the face. Was it
against the rules? Yeah, probably it was pass interference. He did have his arm extended, but
I was gonna say that's what they look for.
But prior calls have said like the Kyle Rudolph push against the Saints, like that's pass interference. They didn't call it. And then like we all know what happened last season with the Saints and Rams, the early hit, that's pass interference. They didn't call it. But we've seen examples of arm push-offs all season. The problem is that it was within 2 minutes, and so there was no challenge that you couldn't challenge it. And it's just Booth probably wasn't likely to look at it and try and overturn it. And if they were, there's no way that they would overturn it because it is pass interference.
Yeah, right.
That's the definition of pass interference.
They messed up the calls before, and it set a bad precedent in the Super Bowl. But
I think the refs did a great job. I think that the refs refed a great game. Obviously, everybody has
There
problems.
was a few late hits. Saw a few late hits on Jimmy G. That one hit out of bounds is pretty bad.
No, it wasn't. He was running out of bounds, and he wasn't even out of bounds yet.
Regardless of him being out of bounds, Shanahan was going crazy because he thought they were offsides and got basically
they were. They did.
Jump. So you're saying they refed a good game, but you're missing late hits on the quarterback. You're missing offsides.
No, that wasn't a late hit on the quarterback. He was a runner, and he wasn't out of bounds yet. If
that was Mahomes, they would have thrown that flag.
Because he's Mahomes.
Okay, that doesn't change the rules.
But that's a generous flag. If it's Mahomes.
It doesn't matter it doesn't matter who he threw it to. It doesn't matter who it is.
And also the offsides thing, that's missed. Like that, it was a quick jump and it had no effect on the play.
It had no effect on the play. He pressured Garoppolo out of the pocket and.
No, it came from the other side. The offsides was in the middle and it didn't do anything.
I thought it was closer to the Shanahan sideline. So I want to spin it to a little fantasy here. I want to ask you, are you guys surprised that the number one fantasy player for the San Francisco 49ers, really number one and number two, were pretty surprising. Number one being Deebo Samuel. He ended up with I'm stuck on the defense. He ended up with got it. I'll close this loop in the edit here. He ended up with 14.2 points. So that's not really that high, but really where he scored a lot of his points, he was the second leading rusher for the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
He took 3 carries for 53 yards, basically accounting for almost half of his points. He ended up receiving 5 balls for only 39 yards on 9 targets. But that was your number one San Francisco 49er. Your number 2 49er was a fullback, Kyle Juszczyk. And now that's a big boy, and I saw him on DraftKings was put into the Fox ideal lineup, and I thought, they're full of it. They're idiots. But no, number 2 scored for the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to throw it back to you guys. Were these surprising results for you guys?
The Kyle Juszczyk one was for me, but Deebo Samuel was in my lineup for a reason this week in DraftKings. I should have put it – I was debating Emmanuel Sanders or Deebo Samuel as the captain. I chose incorrectly, but Emmanuel Sanders still had an okay game. Deebo Samuel was in my lineup. I probably should have picked an extra Chiefs receiver, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I had a great time watching Deebo Samuel carve up that defense. He was running the football with a lot of proficiency, and he was catching the ball. He caught 5 passes from Jimmy G. Jimmy G threw 6 passes all against the Packers. Debo caught 5 in the Super Bowl. He's gonna be a player to watch next year and the years to come because he has a lot of talent and he's super fast.
Yeah. I like you, Joe. I picked incorrectly. Now I want Emmanuel Sanders, but you knew one of those guys was going to have the game. You didn't know which one, so it's kind of not really surprising. I just picked the wrong one. And as you said, Debo is a dynamic player, and I think a lot of teams are going to mimic that kind of skill set. They're going to look for receivers that are running backs that can catch the ball and they can put in the slot that are bigger guys like that. And I think that's going to be kind of a new prototype receiver that we're going to see some NFL teams implement. In who they draft. They're going to look for the next Debo Samuel type where they can do both of those things. Juszczyk, again, it doesn't really shock me just because nothing on the 49ers shocks me. I knew one of their inferior – I was tooting the Maparita horn all week. It ended up being the fullback, but one of those guys will come out of nowhere every week and do something. So,
well,
not surprised. I guess it's shocking from a fantasy aspect that he had that many points. He should have had 2 touchdowns. I mean,
he really should have.
Yeah, he was right there on the goal line for a second.
And as long as we're talking about DraftKings, Joe, did you have a really good week and get second place this week?
Yes, I did. I was second place with one of my players scoring 0. So.
And who scored 0 for you?
Robinson, Demarcus Robinson, Demarcus, right? That's his name. D. Robinson, Demarcus.
Yeah. Denard is the quarterback from Michigan.
Yeah. Demarcus Robinson ended up with a fat 0. And really, I was between Demarcus Robinson and Miracle Hardman. And so Miracle would not have put me over our man Donnie Z. Donnie Z, big writer for the Bears Brawl website. And he won. And he ended up
Congrats to him.
He won while playing both the Chiefs and the 49ers defense in his lineup, which was kind of surprising. We had exact same lineups, he and I. But I had Robbie Gould and Demarcus Robinson, and he had, in place of those, he had the Chiefs and the 49ers defense. Outside of that, our lineups were identical, and his bottom pair outscored my bottom pair, and he won. Congratulations. He had a great lineup.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was in third place for most of the afternoon in the evening. But after that crazy halftime show, the players decided that they wanted to, throw me back to 32nd place. And so that's where I ended up. But we did get 50 guys this week. We got 53 people this week, and we have to say a huge thank you. We have to say a huge thank you to everybody who played. Thank you to all my friends who played. Thank you to all my family who played. Thank you to everybody who's a part of the Brawl Network who played. Y'all mean a lot to us, and it was really fun, and we're going to continue to do stuff like that all next season, hopefully not coming out of my wallet. But, Lucas, I know you did okay, right? You were fine, not great, but decent.
Yeah, I was somewhere in there. It wasn't my best week, but all in all, it was a fun showdown. The showdown slates are always a blast. So,
that
Kelsey touchdown, that's what changed you. That's what plummeted you.
I was about to say that. And ever since that Joe ran, he's been on a roll lately.
Well, I just had to get outside my comfort zone a little bit. Yeah, unleash myself. I just want to say you guys don't know how happy it makes me. When we hit 50 and then ultimately 53, I was ecstatic the rest of the day. And I know it's a little thing, it's a tiny thing, and and ultimately doesn't mean much. But really, thank you guys for playing with us, and I hope you had fun. It was free. It makes me so happy. So thank you. It makes me just really sit back and smile and think wow, that was awesome. So yeah, it's a little thing, but so happy that all you guys played with us. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was. That's interesting. It was amazing, and for the
guys
Super Bowl
and girls,
too.
My wife finished top 10, 7th place for my wife.
Let's go. Good job, Lacey.
The Gaither household on fire, guy. And just the fact that we, we're not gonna lie, we're not the biggest podcast in the world, and the fact that we were able to get 53 players on DraftKings is something that we should be proud of, and that we should be really thanking the people who played, because that's hard to do. That's really hard to do. It's not something that happens every afternoon, happens every game. I mean, we had 31 last week. We beat our high by 22.
Yeah,
right?
That's sick. That's sick. Yes.
That's insane. And I don't know. I didn't do so well. Lucas did okay.
Doesn't
Joe
matter.
and his wife
it's
went
okay.
off, but
Oh,
I'm excited for XFL DraftKings. I'm kidding,
gosh.
obviously. I'm kidding.
That's why we're
I'll
taking
put
a
up a
break.
lineup. I'll put up a lineup each week on the Twitter account.
That's
the
why we're
Facebook
taking
account.
a break. No,
I'll
none
put
of
it
us
in the
want to talk.
Facebook account.
That's
But
what you should.
just I will do it because I'm a nice guy, and I know there's some people out there who need to bet. It's like a need. So I will put that out there for y'all. If y'all craving my content, I might do a quick video on Twitter, be like, "Hey, what's up, everybody?" Like some stupid like that. But there are a ton of new Brawl Network podcasts that everybody should be checking out, and big things are coming for this entire amazing network. Thank you to everybody for giving us this platform, and really appreciate it. I don't know, I say that all the time.
Well, you just put it out there, so you committed yourself. XFL lineup every week from Joa. You'll catch that.
Y'all better remind me.
That's the oh no, you are the master of your own destiny. You can do it. I believe in you. But I want to you mentioned the halftime show and how that kind of changed the game. And I want to give you guys a little chance to step outside the fantasy box here in Alabama on Sports Talk Radio. Golly, I want to blow my dang brains out. Oh my God, those girls are up there shaking their booties, not wearing any clothes. Family show. What are they doing? They're singing Spanish. This is America, dang it. I just want to, and honestly, my wife and I thought we enjoyed it. When I looked over at her at the end, she was happy. I was happy throughout. I thought it was an electric show and a very Miami show for two, Miami-centric superstars. I know J-Lo's from New York, but
Shakira's from Colombia.
but that's a melting pot of a city.
It really
that's
is.
an international city, if there is one in the country, really. And so it was an electric show. I thought they had, and I know for everybody who's conservative, there may have been too much skin, blah 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 blah. But it's
bro, get over yourself.
Here's the thing, like these guys, these men out there on the field, they are not playing patty cakes. They are playing a violent game. Yeah, we call football a family game. It is not a family game. These guys are trying to hurt each other. These guys are banging their brains out, breaking legs, busting heads. Like it's not a family game.
It's not family-friendly TV.
It's adult programming. I'm sorry. The hot mic catches cuss words on the sidelines. Every commercial is for beer or something else. And, I'm not here judging any of that stuff.
For Cialis and Viagra.
Yeah, I'm not here judging any of that stuff. Those are the choices that you make. If you turn the program on, you know what you're getting. Largely. Last year, Mr. Adam Levine dancing with his shirt off, tattoos everywhere, however you feel about that, and there wasn't as much backlash. So I've said my piece, and I'm going to let you guys – what y'all think of the show? What y'all think of it was 40 minutes, whatever it was. Halftime's always super long in a Super Bowl.
No, it felt like 40 minutes, but it was only 15 minutes. It was only a 15-minute show, and it was awesome. I loved it. I thought it was super cool. I know I might get some backlash for that, but Shakira and J-Lo, man, bro, how do you look like that when you're 43 and 50 respectively? Like, that's insane. And just the work that they put in, they're not J-Lo is not known as a great singer or anything. She's known as a great performer.
Jenny from the block.
Yeah, she's a great performer, and Shakira has, been around since the mid-90s, started singing when she was 16 years old, and man, the hips don't lie. That's pretty much it. I love the show. Everybody who I was with in my dorm loved the show.
Yeah, the wide majority of people liked it. And like you said, it's a performance, and if the NFL had deemed that it was too inappropriate, they would have told them, no, you're not wearing this, or you're not performing. Yeah. But they didn't, so get over yourselves.
It was the best one since
the nip slip.
No, since Prince in 07.
Well, I'm not a fan of that type of music. I would think it would cool if Metallica or Slayer played the halftime show, but the wide majority of America would not like that. So whatever, people can enjoy their moment.
It was super catchy, super cool dances. Shakira got some nice memes. The tongue, whatever the heck she's doing. I think it's a Zagruta, which is like is it Arabic? I think it's Arabic. Not sure. I'm gonna sound a little uncultured, but it doesn't matter. It was super cool. I very very much enjoyed it. Everybody I was with very much enjoyed it, and it really just like made me like, yeah, the first half was like, oh yeah, I'm watching, but the second half I was like, oh, now it's game time.
Yeah.
The halftime show got me right in there, and I was like, it's game time. Patty Mahomes time. Jimmy Garoppolo time. They taking over the game. Let's see this get a great finish, and it was an amazing second half, and I feel like it was
Congrats
all set
to
up
the
by
Chiefs for a Super Bowl in a long time.
I felt like it was all set up by a great halftime show. I think that's what, like, people talk about the turning point in the game, probably around the beginning of the fourth quarter. But the turning point of the game was the halftime show, and it really flipped the switch from, like, an okay defensive battle to fierce football adult programming.
Well, go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
I was just going to spin us away to a new topic there, because that's it. It's not a kids pro. Football is not a kids program, really. These guys are out there doing, they're doing battle with their bodies. So back to fantasy football here. If I gave you a bet, which player is going to score the most fantasy points in the game before the game, most people are taking Patrick Mahomes. No questions asked. I'm cashing my ticket on Patrick Mahomes. But the winner was Damian Williams with 29.3 fantasy points. Damian Williams did not win the MVP. I said he would last week. That was my pick. I just wanted to be a little off the wall.
We had him as our X factor, though.
Yeah, we all had him pretty much as the X factor of the game, but I kind of wanted to go out on a stronger limb and say he would be MVP. Now, Mahomes won MVP.
Should have been.
That's where I want to go, Joey. Mahomes won MVP, and obviously winning quarterback on the winning team. I'm going to Disney World. Screw the rest of you guys, whatever. Should Patrick Mahomes have won the MVP, or should it have been Damian Williams, or even maybe someone from the defense, Rashad Breeland, or someone else? Lucas, I think Joe is chewing. Give us a start there.
No, I agree with you guys. I mean, I just think the best run defense in the league, and Williams carved them up. Plain and simple. He opened up that offense, like we said. One of the something we talked about last week, to go back to it. At one point, Sherman was playing man-to-man on Sammy Watkins.
Oh, yeah.
And Sammy Watkins said he watched film on Devontae Adams the week before, and he said, Sherman is slow. He's flat-footed and he's slow. And if you beat him on the inside, you're off to the races. And what did he do? He got Sherman one-on-one. Slow-ass Sherman turns his back, and he is toast. Sammy Watkins is way past him. That is it. They got out of cover 3, and that was game. That was it. And Williams set that up. Williams had started that and set that up, and incredible performance, should have been the MVP.
Look, I said last week that the X factors were going to be the defenses, and I think that for the most part they were. But the standout guy was y'all guy, and that was Damian Williams. And I think he should have won MVP. I think that he rightfully deserved the MVP, he deserved the MVP. Patrick Mahomes, yeah, he played that amazing fourth quarter and took him back and got him back and won the game for them. But it was really Damian Williams who made it all happen. And because Patrick Mahomes did not play a good game by any stretch. He played a good quarter, and that's what won him the game. And I think it's respectful. I respect the pick of Patrick Mahomes as Super Bowl MVP. But I definitely think it should have been Damian Williams, and I think that he proved that with the game he had and how much of an X factor he was for that Chiefs team. If he's not playing there, and like I obviously like he's not an upper echelon of talent amongst RBs in the NFL, but if he's not playing there and he's not on their team and it's LaShawn McCoy and Darwin Thompson and that's their backfield, they don't win that game. That's it. Plain and simple.
Well, I agree. I think they would add someone else who would be serviceable but not that great and still would be good in that offense. But for the most part, yeah, if it was McCoy. Joe, I mean, I know this is tough, but, give us, how do we sum this thing up? How do we sum this thing up into our break?
Well, I had one final question on the Super Bowl for you guys.
Sure.
I'll sum it up. Okay, so all of that being said, Joe has said it right there. Patrick Mahomes did not play well. He had a good last quarter. And what? Yes, I largely agree. He ended up with a 61 QBR, 78 passer rating. He did end up second in fantasy points, keeping it in our fantasy sandbox, 24 fantasy points, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. 22 of 46. Now, my last topic is how much that's the difference of the game. Patrick Mahomes' ability to erase a 10-point deficit in the end. What does that show you about quarterbacks in the NFL? What does that show you about the difference in what you need to win? Yes, I think the Chiefs team as a whole is very, very, very good. I think their defense is pretty underrated. I think that their skill position players on the outside and tight end are pretty dang good. I'm not too thrilled about the running back, but I think it's a great fit for the system. I think it's Patrick Mahomes that pushes them over the top, obviously. What does that tell you guys, about what you need in the NFL to win a Super Bowl? You've got Patrick Mahomes as probably the top quarterback in the game. The rest of that upper echelon, you got Aaron Rodgers, you got Russell Wilson. But, if you don't have those guys, if you've got a Jimmy G, who is, depending on your perspective, largely middle of the road, right there, average quarterback. Not terrible, not great. Going to sit there between probably 12 and 22, and depending on the week for the quarterbacks. But that's not good enough. Even with an elite, stellar defense, their defense was awesome. A great running game behind him. Really, a great running game behind him. Number 1 running game in the NFL. There's the difference between getting to the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl. And I think you're going to see that as the years progress. And I just wanted to throw those two at you, that kind of thought process. Can you win without basically a superstar, a Superman at quarterback in the NFL? Yeah, go for it, Joe.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Tom Brady last year might be the only exception, but he's still a big, huge superstar name. Last year, Tom Brady was not good. Not good in that Super Bowl. Clutch, but not good. And you really need that guy to win. To win, you need your quarterback to play an amazing game to win a Super Bowl. Or be at least clutch. Last year, the Rams sucked, and Jared Goff is a terrible quarterback, in my opinion. So that's just me thinking that, and I have claims and evidence to back that up, but, we're not getting into that right now. You need that championship caliber quarterback, but what you also need, and you must have, is a championship caliber defense, and that can mean different things. This Chiefs defense, not the most talented in the NFL, not the best in the NFL, not even top 5 in the NFL, but they came in hot, and that's what the championship caliber defense was for them, that they were hot. They were on fire. And so a team that had a championship caliber defense this year who didn't make the playoffs was the Chicago Bears. But they didn't have the quarterback play. They didn't have the running back play. They didn't have the offensive play to match what the Chiefs did. Even though if you put Patrick Mahomes on the Bears, he probably leads them to the playoffs, which is why this thing exists called a great quarterback, why it is necessary, why the teams are always trying to get the best quarterback, why they're moving on from quarterbacks right now. Bengals are probably going to move on from Andy Dalton. Get this Joe Burrow guy. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's supposed to be very good. The Dolphins are probably going to have one more year with Ryan Fitzpatrick at most. Could be a couple games. They might take Tua Tagovailoa. I don't know if you've heard of him, Joe. I think he went to your alma mater. There's a reason why teams have focused on the quarterback in this new game. This is not ground and pound 1970s. This is not 1985 Chicago Bears where they won with an average quarterback and an amazing defense and an amazing running game.
Jim McMahon, not average.
He was a one-time Pro Bowler. Joe, I swear to God,
I'm just teasing.
I swear. And so like Walter Payton.
Sorry, I just wanted to throw a wrench in there.
Best run game in football with Walter Payton. Best defense in football. 15-1 Chicago Bears in 1985. 2015 and beyond, it's a different game. It is a different game. 30 years later, it's a different game, and you can't play the same way. You need that championship of a quarterback. And we've seen guys like Aaron Rodgers, who used to be that guy. Right now, they don't seem like they're that guy anymore. Tom Brady's probably not that guy anymore. He says he's not leaving the Patriots. But do you think that the Patriots are like, dang, Tom Brady's going to be our franchise quarterback for the next 3 years because he was so good this year? No. I know that Bill Belichick is looking out there and he's like, which quarterback can I get? Grew behind Tom Brady for at most 2 more years. At most.
Stidham.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah.
He's already on their roster.
Bill Belichick is already planning on who their next guy is. Teams are already planning on who their next guy is because you need that championship quarterback and that championship defense.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
I don't think the Chiefs defense was championship. I just think that the 49ers quarterback was subpar and couldn't get the job done, or else if the 49ers had a better quarterback, they would have won that game.
They slowed down the 49ers run game. That's
because they have no pass game.
But they didn't have a pass game all year. And the Packers defense and the Vikings defense and all these championship caliber defenses that we thought could tried to stop them all through the playoffs and all through the end of the regular season.
Well, when you have 2 weeks to plan for them and stop them, it's a lot easier.
I think
a cheap, affordable quarterback who is a really good quarterback who's affordable. Mahomes is on his rookie contract. That's what you need. Once quarterbacks start getting paid, these teams, they're not going to be able to have the Kelseys, the Tyreek Hills. They're not going to be able to have the stacked offense, everyone like that. That's part of the Packers' downfall. Once Rodgers gets paid and gets paid all that money, they can't surround him with any talent.
Tom Brady took pay cuts for years upon
years. But he's an exception.
Yeah. It's just like that's what you need. I think that's the key is a tremendous quarterback, and you have to capture him on his rookie deal. Once you start paying players, it all goes in none unless you just catch lightning in a bottle, which it would kind of what happened with the Eagles. I mean, but honestly, even when they won when Foles won the Super Bowl, he was the best quarterback in the world at that point. He literally was.
I mean, he was playing
like it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why I think that the Chiefs had a championship caliber defense. And they did. They proved it.
I don't think they were championship caliber. I think
they stopped the best running game in football.
They were serviceable enough to not get down enough where Mahomes could come back.
See, if you put all your energy,
I think you could stick to your larger point, Joe. Is they weren't championship, but they were hot. You kept saying that they were hot, and I think that's more accurate than
no. But I think that there's many different definitions for a championship caliber defense.
Championship caliber defense to me was the 49ers.
I think that obviously, I think there's many championship caliber defenses in football, and I think that the Chiefs proved that they were one of them. Because you don't have to be the best defense in football to be a championship caliber defense. You don't even have to be a top 5. But you can play hot and win a championship, and then you're a championship caliber defense. People aren't going to remember the Chiefs defense. They're going to remember Patrick Mahomes.
That's why I'm saying they're not championship caliber. No one will know who they were.
Okay, so if the 49ers
won because they had an all-world quarterback.
If the 49ers won, who would they remember? The championship caliber defense or
the
running game?
The defense.
Or the run game? You think
probably the defense. If the 49ers won that game, that defense would have won them the game for having 3 picks.
Yeah. They
would have shut down the best quarterback in the world.
I think that looking back on it, probably, but immediately it would have been the run game, and that's what happened. The run game with Deebo Samuel and Raheem Mostert and Tevin Coleman, and that combination, I think that would have been the storyline.
So you're telling me that former Alabama linebacker Reggie Ragland was not the championship caliber for the Chiefs when it for the champion? All right, I'm sorry. I just had to throw another wrench in there. Yeah. All right, so that's going to do it. We had a great time. It's been a blast. We're closing the books on our 2019 season. I know it wasn't completely fantasy-centered to this time, but it's a Super Bowl. We had to talk about the game and just kind of analyze and break it down. We had a lot of fun doing all this, getting into it. We're going to take a couple weeks off. I'm going to miss you. Those guys, Joe and Lucas, aren't going to miss me, but
I'll miss you, Joe.
I'm going to miss the listeners. Come on. I'm going to spend a couple weeks, we're all going to block each other's telephone numbers and, go radio silence.
Nah, if you don't think I'm going to be texting you at 2:30 a.m. like I did last night, how I was just like, dang, if Jimmy G really hit that pass, I would have won draft. That's what I'm thinking about at night. Texting you guys.
If the ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Good Christmas. Woohoo! So, you'll have plenty of time next year to win those DraftKings competitions, Joe.
Hell yes.
I believe in you.
I'm
We'll
going
take a few
to.
weeks off, and I'm not exactly sure the date that we'll come back, but we will be in touch through the Twitter, through the Facebook, through the Instagram.
Yes,
And our
like
next
us on Facebook.
Our next episode will be breaking down the draft the quarterbacks that are entering the draft and talking about what they present and what, it'll be before the draft, so we won't know their situations quite yet, but we will talk about what we like and what we don't like about the quarterbacks that are entering the draft.
And we're going to try and get a couple of really nice guests on too.
Yeah.
Just have some fun.
Follow us on social media and we'll keep you updated.
Always. And we're going to always have periodic. I know Joe's probably going to hop on the Fantasy Football Brawl Twitter at some point and just make a quick video about how goofy he is. He likes to do that. So I'll hop on there every other week talking about the XFL because I'm a loser and I love football too much to go a couple weeks without it.
Well, we want to keep Mike Brez happy by putting out content. So, Mike, this will be for you throughout the next couple of months.
Whoa!
The next couple of weeks.
Yo, I'm not going for a couple months, bro. I'm not trying to lose that much.
For the next couple of weeks, we'll keep the content rolling just for you, Mike. We hope you all have a great offseason. We'll talk to you once it's draft time. Thank you.
Yes.
Peace.